First thing I want to talk about is positioning your aerial. You want to be aware of any overhead lines, and we want to set the truck up on good stable ground so when our outriggers are out and down, we don't have any manhole covers underneath, so we have some good solid ground to support the truck. To get the aerial active, you need to have three things happening in the cab, all performed from the driver's position. You must have the park brake applied, the transmission in neutral, and the engine running. Once you have all three of those items in place, you can turn the aerial power switch on. This will activate the aerial with 12-volt power and activate the hydraulic pump. Now we'll be talking about our outrigger panel located at the rear of the truck. If you performed your startup procedures correctly in the cab, this is what your panel will look like. The two plate lights will be illuminated and the red outrigger not extended light will be illuminated. At the top of our panel, one of the features we have is the hour meter. This will count the aerial hours only. Whenever the aerial is in operation, it'll count the hours. Amber outboard lights will blink rapidly. Once we begin to deploy an outrigger beam out, it'll continue to blink rapidly until we get the jack set down on the ground. At that point in time, the amber lights will burn solid, and if both sides of the truck are fully deployed 100%, the red outrigger not extended light will be out at that time. Moving down on our panel, we have an amber change hydraulic filter when light is on light. This amber light is telling us that our high pressure filter has restriction. It'll only be on when we're moving a hydraulic function. So next to that on the right is your emergency backup pump switch. In the event of a main hydraulic pump failure or an engine failure, this would be our backup pump. The backup pump is rated for a continuous use of 6 minutes out of 60. Proper operation for the emergency backup pump would be to turn your outrigger switch on if it's an outrigger function you're going to perform. Open the valve for the outrigger and then turn your momentary switch on. When done making the movement, let the switch go, turn your outriggers back off. Outrigger on-off switch located at the bottom of the panel will activate our outriggers when we turn it on. When we're done setting outriggers, we'll be shutting this switch off. In the center of the panel you have an override switch. It's an aerial override and an outrigger override. Once the aerial has left the ladder bed, the outriggers become disabled automatically. The only way you can move an outrigger with the aerial out of the bed would be to override it. This is a momentary switch. So with the aerial out of the bed, it would only be safe to move an outrigger that is opposite of the aerial. Never move an outrigger that has the aerial over the top of it. This is a momentary switch. You push the switch down to activate the hydraulic pump and then make your outrigger movement. Let the switch go and it'll automatically return to the off position. If you push your switch up, it'll activate the aerial hydraulics. Keep in mind these switches are dangerous. With the aerial override switch activated, it would be possible to raise the aerial out of the bed and rotate it and get into a potential tip over moment. We'll talk about our outrigger controls located on the left and the right hand side of the body. These are electric outriggers. They have a toggle switch for jack up and down, outrigger beam in and out. These switches are directional. We'll activate our outriggers with the outrigger on-off switch and we'll deploy our outriggers out. As soon as an outrigger beam begins to move, you'll see a rapidly blinking amber light. It'll continue to blink rapidly until the jack is completely on the ground. Rapidly blinking amber lights, red outrigger not extended light is still illuminated. Once my jacks have penetrated the ground, You'll see the jack light go solid. And the red outrigger not extended light is no longer illuminated. Outriggers will be shut off. With the safety pins inserted into the jack tubes, we would be safe to go run the aerial.